Oh, Bill, you've now rendered everything you've just said not bloody usable.
Right, we'll do it again.
No, I'm going to use that as the intro now, just you blowing your nose.
Well, we've all got colds at the moment.
So, I want to start the episode by apologising duo. One, we said this episode would be about classics. Bill said that was a rubbish idea, so we've changed it to Megacities because Monsieur Benjamin over here has been to New York, and we thought it was much more interesting to talk about because you made me think my topic was rubbish, Bill.
Yeah, let's not talk about Bill, let's talk about me.
Yeah, let's talk about Ben, and let's talk about... Oh, here we go. Where have you been, Ben? You've been in New York.
New York.
So, I think you should explain where you've been and why you've been there, because it's interesting. Megacities Part 1.
It's not really not interesting. I've been there on holiday to have a jolly.
Which is more glamorous than what we've done last week.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. In November as well, late November, everyone's looking at you weirdly like, why are you leaving? Why are you going on holiday? Everyone's already been off.
It's such a
like
good
you're
idea,
sneaking off. Yeah, I feel guilty for sneaking off.
And you didn't even tell us.
I don't know.
He was like, going tomorrow.
Yeah.
What? You're going to America tomorrow?
I told you guys. This is why we did the
You
podcast
told me
a day
like
early.
a few hours before.
The wonderful irony of last weekend's episode was last week's episode was all about failure, and when Ben went, I tried to do all the video recording, that failed. Couldn't upload anything, that failed. So
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be, Ben. We fall apart when you're not here. So you went to New York.
But yeah, I was in New York for 4 days. I've lived there for a little bit. I try to go every year now. It's a great place. Yeah.
We sound so
Sorry,
glamorous,
I sound
don't
like
we?
a prick saying that.
Just international.
But a really international prick, though.
yeah, millennial. I tried to go every year.
I just
If
love
not
it.
more.
That's the way life is now.
So many cities like that, I feel.
It's the way forward, Ben. How much were flights?
Yeah. £300. Yeah.
For a return, that is.
Yeah.
Considering a train up to the Lake District last minute is 300 quid, you're like, I'm out.
My train back home is 80 quid. So yeah.
I don't
Just put that in perspective. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about. When I start booking holidays, the costs spiral out of control. Like, you look at that reasonably, you think, 300 quid for the flights. Oh, I'll stay with a friend, maybe on Airbnb. We're just here, like, little joints. Thousands, because you don't just go, you buy some stuff and you have an experience, you get tickets for the concert, you get big round for all your new American friends.
It's really not that cheap. Yeah. No.
Everyone's like, how much are the flights? And you're like, it's irrelevant. Torpedo.
What was the bus ticket on the way out? Yeah, I mean, you went. So we love Casey Neistat, don't we? And you went to their studios as well, didn't you?
Yeah, he's a fan of the show, right?
He is big fan.
Anyway, yeah, I dragged my friends along to his studio, and there was nothing there because it was Thanksgiving, so he was obviously away having a good time with his family.
Did you have a Thanksgiving lunch?
We did. So all my friends were away seeing their own families, so. Rather depressing. So I saw them at the end of the holiday, but over Thanksgiving, I did have turkey and pumpkin pie, but not in the same meal. So.
On your own?
Yeah, on your own.
Not on my own.
In McDonald's, crying.
New York. You got me.
I've always wanted to be invited to a sort of Home Alone style, big American house, knit jumpers, Thanksgiving, huge slices of pumpkin pie.
It was
an Uncle Chuck, that sort of
creepy
dogs.
Uncle Chuck.
Yeah, exactly.
We need an American listener. We should say an incredibly wealthy American listener to fly us all over. Ben goes
we want to
every
go to the
year.
Hamptons.
Ben goes every year. He doesn't need an invite, but we need to go record a podcast in America, in New York.
Next season, international.
Yeah, I would say with our vast listenership, someone's going to want to do that.
We have literally dozens of listeners in America.
We have 500,000 listeners. I was thinking how big a metric means. We're up to 600 listeners now. We've only been doing it for 5 weeks.
Brilliant.
6 weeks.
Haven't people got anything better to do?
I know.
That's what you think.
And on our
Who are these people?
Yeah, the best thing is, on the statistics, people listen to almost the entire show. That's really good. So thank you.
No, but now it
Catherine.
occurs to people. Yeah, we've had some direct messages.
Come on, bring her up. Come on.
Right.
We've said before, if you mention us on Twitter, we will give you an enormous shout out.
Yeah.
Catherine Jones, followed by no one we follow.
Yeah, I know.
Just clarify.
That's credible, because that means it's not a friend of your wife or something like
This
that.
is the first comment where we've gone, whose friend was that? None of our friends. What?
No, come on. There are loads of people are tweeting all the time. Catherine, if you're listening, a lover of fine beer and a good old knees up. Clearly a well-balanced
Yeah.
and exciting individual. She's got loads of... I mean, she's following a few more than she's got in terms of followers.
That's fine. That's the statistic.
But she loved it. She referenced the joke you made.
Yeah.
And-
That's why I think she's such a good fan of the show.
That's great. Yeah.
Episode 6 had some laugh out loud moments.
Oh, they did.
That's
They
good.
did.
I've called her several times now.
You know what we should do is
answer.
just put that as a review on iTunes.
She
We'll
does
put
this-
that in the poster for iTunes.
Yeah.
Many laugh out loud moments.
Megacities, Ben.
Megacities. No, now, a lot of people have asked, we don't talk about what we actually do during the week. The reason I've asked about Ben, people want to actually know what we've done in a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What have you done?
Well, talking of megacities, so very quick thing. We're looking at a site near St Paul's. I had the best day. We went to Cityscape and they did this amazing 3D model of London, and then we had the site right near St Paul's, and they showed us like the view corridors that impact St Paul's, and they had these massive 3 massive plasma screens up, all with like different information. I felt I was in the Matrix.
Yeah.
So good, and it's so interesting. You understand the history of it, and I felt like he can show you exactly where you can and can't build super tall. And one of the things I'd love to do is like a 2100. What would London be as a mega city? If you just remove the aviation hype and just like what would
we
London?
changed it by 1 degree. Those view corridors.
It would be amazing. Like, where can you build super high in the city, ignoring aviation, but keeping the St Paul's view corridor? Like, make them 600 meter high tall towers. Like, St Paul's would be this little thing in the middle. Oh, it's so exciting.
Did it feel like a sort of London visitor experience
Yeah.
going to this?
It was
sort of
great.
3D. Yeah.
It was the type of thing you get sold as you leave uni. You're like, this could be your day. I'm like, I had one of those days.
Really?
I had like a proper day with like planning consultants and townscape consultants, and we're all there discussing what we could do on the site, and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I did some really boring stuff as well, but,
But that's a
you've got to
good thing. That is, but also that's like tech is actually being used in a really exciting way. It's sort of augmented reality. It's sort of like old tech, but
Yeah.
actually it's like cutting edge.
It was great, and you don't realise like how amazing St Paul's is. And like, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, how did they build
Yeah,
that? How the hell did that ever get built?
I like those. They show you all the projections of what has planning and what has consent and what hasn't yet been built. And London is incredibly different. Mostly the general public don't discover buildings until it's been erected, and you can see now what these views are going to be like. People should be interested in that, right?
Yeah.
You're surprised that the BBC local news aren't saying, this is what Peckham's going to look like. Do you know about this?
Yeah, because
We could call it planning progress. Have a 5-minute.
I mean, it sounds dull when
ITV
you say it like that, but I know what you mean.
Well, you know how like ITV
Planning
used to have
progress.
or Channel 4 used to do like a minute of wonder. A weird sort of short film between two other. Why don't they have one on planning?
Yeah.
Well,
You could
because
totally do that.
Yeah.
Well,
Planning itself sounds quite fun because it's like, you're going to plan. What's fun about it? It's almost like the opposite of being impulsive, isn't it? Planning.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I was just thinking about so I think since last week, Foster and Partners announced their new scheme.
Jesus, Bill. I'm really glad you brought that up, Ben, because I feel I've got to apologise for my rampant enthusiasm for that project. Because no, my defence, and I've had a lot of people text me, do you really like that building that much? And I feel I feel I need to defend myself a little bit, break it down into 2 little bits. One, when I saw it, just to justify myself, it had just been announced in the press. I saw 5 images. Quickly, I came in and I loved it. And then I think I should say...
Then you heard what everyone else thought.
And
It's the hive mind.
yeah, I've had a lot of people...
They're judging you based
Yeah.
on your opinions. Yeah.
And I'm going to say, Norman, if you're listening, love it. I really love it. However... it's not as good as every shot internally. I love the fact it's up there that high. I would definitely go there. The final
Go back. No one cares. No one cares if you.
I've had more time to review it, and I think externally I'm not as big as a fan as I was, but internally I love it, and I think it should go ahead. And people who moan that it's a private thingy, I'm like, grow up. Everything's private. You got pay.
Yeah.
That's a little rant for you.
No, that's it. That's good. I mean, the criticism is that it's this touristic experience in the middle of London, but I'm interested to see how it goes. We had Peter Rees in this week, who is the
X.
He is the city planner who is responsible for the cluster and this idea that if you're going to have towers, you have them all together, and that's what the City of London is. And he was head of planner for the city for a decade and responsible for all that building. He now works in a university running a planning course, and those students came in and we spoke about it. And
wow,
it was really amazing. It was really amazing, and I got a chance to talk to the next generation of planners, and so I couldn't help myself but say, and another thing, if you're gonna go into planning, this, and this. So I started in a really sort of cerebral and scholarly way, explaining, and by the end I was just saying, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What's wrong with what if you politicise everything? But we discussed that, but he specifically asked me never to share his views, because if you're the chief planner of or architect of that, all of those towers, and then someone comes, a year after you've left and does this, apparently all the press have been ringing him. But he's a lovely
really
man,
awesome.
and it made me think how fun it would be to teach for the first time. I've really never thought that. But seeing the way him explore it and explain things and people's comments, and I thought it'd be fun.
I think you'd love being a teacher, Bill. You'd love it, just the power. No, I think you got
sound of my own voice.
No, but it's enthusiasm. You want to sell enthusiasm for a subject. Do you know what sounds weird? I didn't think there'd be a course for being a planner at the university. Why did I not think that was a thing? Is that really dumb of me to think that the fact that you'd rock up to university course and study planning?
Well, no one says, "Oh, you're creative. Yeah. You should be a planner." It's not.
That sounds bad.
But most jobs, school children don't know about. They're all being an M&E engineer or a project manager or a civil engineer or I don't know. You know what? 5 jobs when you're at school, and then you get to secondary school and 20 or.
Does any? Yeah, I guess I was thinking if you're an architect student in your first year and they're like, have you thought about being a planner, actually?
We just said,
Is that like a cop-out? Or?
Well, I don't know. Only since working and doing stuff in the City of London have I realised how exciting it would be to see the future of London.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And also, planners they're civil servants, but they're public servants. You're looking at the whole urban experience and how people get to school and what that hospital environment is like and how much green space you have and what cultural districts need to grow. It's very broad and generous, and architecture is just in a way it's just the buildings and the plots, and it's getting it's having great relationships with planners and understanding what they're trying to achieve and working with each other. And he is a good example of that. He was saying to these young, they were doing their masters, but they were 21, 22, and he was sort of just saying, get the developer, the planner and the architect, sit down together, you're a team, do it together. And they were all sort of nodding sort of quizzically.
What a novel idea.
Yeah, what a novel idea. And obviously that is the best thing. And he was a very, he was a single point of contact. And almost the problem you have now is that, who is that Peter Rees? You don't have almost that single person that's responsible or sticking their neck out.
Well, I think so. One of the reasons I think why I was so excited about the tulip and why I couldn't believe people were like, it'll ruin the skyline. I'm so used to seeing the skyline in 10 years' time. All of the images that we work with are like this 10, and I'm like, this is just one of 5 super tall things in that area. And then I was zooming around Google Maps when Ben was like talking about New York and looking around, and you're like, I mean, if the future is just continuing to go up in the air and you look at how many skyscrapers are going up, the idea that you'd moan about a tulip-shaped thing that's not even the highest building in London, I mean, in 20 years' time, 30 years' time... And
you're right, your knee-jerk reaction is right, in that we are always fighting kind of... Not quite NIMBYism, as in not in my backyard, but we're having to defend the development as a concept, often as architects. And we're so pro-development and change and progress and optimising things that when someone says no, your immediate thing is to kind of blur it out the water. But I think, you know, New York and London's not a mega city, but New York is, and I think it's over 10 million or something. But there was this interesting thing at the Count This Tall Buildings conference, that the world is urbanizing. The population has doubled since 1960. It's going to double again in the next 40 years. Cities are getting denser and bigger. And there are these cities that are kind of like a Melbourne or Vienna or Manchester that are kind of small, 1 or 2 million, and they're perfect. You know, you have all of the benefits of being in an urban environment, you know, culturally and in terms of access to public services and all of those kind of things. And they're really good for you. Then you have cities like London that are around kind of 8 million mark. And still there are benefits to it because of all those things we've just outlined. But there are problems like having long commutes or being miles away from your friends, or just the kind of complexity of a city that size means it's not as easy to be a citizen. And then you have these mega cities, the Beijings, the Delhis, that are actually bad for your health.
Got it. Topic in the Saints.
They're actually bad for your health. The air, the long travel, the complex public transport. So sort of cities are fantastic, but there's a sweet spot, and if London's on the verge of growing beyond its kind of tolerable size, and planners have a job of managing that. And the big sort of touch point on this workshop, and I don't think they'll mind me talking about it, is we talk about building tall and sky bridges in Hong Kong, and everyone loves the lateral ground plane, but what if you bring pedestrians up off the ground plane like they do in the city occasionally, in the walkways of the 60s, and you have cars underneath and pedestrians? That's a very old-fashioned idea. Now it's drive everyone down to ground, make the ground safe, get rid of the cars, because otherwise it's a sort of hierarchical thing, you know, who travels where. And I think that is a big idea, that there's only one ground plane and there's only so much space on the ground floor of London. And planners are responsible for making sure that that's a good place. And the big point about the Tulip is you've got all these people. You mentioned Bank Junction a couple of podcasts ago. You've got all these people working in these financial districts, and then you put in a tourist attraction in the middle of it. You're bringing a completely different demographic into an already overcrowded environment. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. That's a big challenge. But planners, maybe we'll get one on.
I'd love to get a planner on. I mean, so
do you think Big Pete would?
Honestly, I think he really would. I genuinely think if we emailed him, he'd come on.
Do you think?
100%.
And we say this is for students. It's about
loads of students listen to this. The demographics, your key student audience, people you're advertising for young people. I mean, the average age of this podcast is something like 30 or something. But one of the things about the Tulip that I do like is that we went up to One New Change last week, which is a kind of it's not that tall, but it's right near St Paul's. It's about 50 metres up in the air. There's a 10-storey building, for argument's sake, but you're level with the dome, and because you're level with it, it seems so much closer. And then I think that when you go up to the Tulip and you actually see these mega towers 20 metres away, it's so dramatic. I know people think that they want to see this limitless view into nothing. It is so exciting seeing these enormous skyscrapers that close to you.
We were talking to a waiter today at lunch, and he said, he used to work in the Gherkin. And
that's what triggered it,
And at the very top is a restaurant and a dining facility, and it's a kind of clear dome, the top of the Gherkin. I mean, there are things in the way, but it's basically a facility, whereas normally you'd have a lot of plant. And he said you used to see the sky, and now you just see all these crazy buildings, and it doesn't sound worse or better, just different. So now it's a place for viewing all these incredible buildings. So it's for architecture fans rather than.
It feels like actually its biggest weakness was that because it had inverted glass, your angle of your view went up, and all you could actually see at night was just the reflection of candles on the tables because it was black night. Whereas now you've got this panoramic fishbowl look of this amazing city going up around, and the idea of you'd see the tulip coming up past it. I mean, ignoring the fact that it looks like a sex aid, I mean, all principles aside, it's cool. And we had this thing with Chris Hayward, who's the chief planning officer of the city. He was just saying, with the view corridors and the aviation height, they're literally just running out of sites to develop, and in 10 years' time they need to have X amount of million additional square feet, otherwise they're just losing out to cities and more space. They just don't have enough space, so they're looking 20 years down the line, and they're like, to be competitive, we need so much more space, and we just don't have that. They need 10% more capacity than they've got to keep the market competitive. The second they stop building, it'll be cheaper just to whack up the rent.
Interesting, when you go up kind of 20 Fenchurch and look down, there feels a lot of opportunity for development around there. I don't think that's not, but he's the chief planner and I'm some...
But interestingly, he's saying that they should fill out everywhere between the walkie-talkie and the cluster. Right. So ironically, when we did planning for our tower, we weren't allowed to even talk about the walkie-talkie as a height constraint. But now they're saying, no, that walkie-talkie's allowed you to fill in all this other tall building stuff. So you're right. I mean, anyone who owns a site between the walkie-talkie and this cluster is sitting on some serious cash. But going back to megacities, because we're just thinking, we're going to the quiz. You, my higher or lower, you were a little critical of my higher or lower last week.
I love
you
that.
said it needed to be a bit zippier, is what you said.
I thought the cadence of the game, it's like a game. A good game's a quick game. I like to play poker with my friends badly, and a good game's a quick game. I mean...
I've doubled down on the quiz today. Okay. I've got props, things, everything. So it's all about...
How did you get that past me?
I've used a little helper in the other room. Lucy's been very helpful, actually. So that's all about future 2100 megacities. So we're going to, between now and the quiz, we're just going to stick to medium distance megacities. And the person who's been to a megacity the most recent, Mr. Hutchings over here. Hello. How did New York feel too big? Did it feel manageable?
No, I've been there several times before, so it's fine.
Every time,
tries to get there every year, Ben.
But in terms of like,
did you used to live there? God, you're international.
God, let's not look at him for the rest of the podcast. But I mean, because I've also been there.
I've been there. I try and get there every year and fail because it's too expensive.
But the height of the buildings is amazing. But in terms of the city, it didn't feel. It feels walkable, and it doesn't feel nuts, tall, and crazy. Whereas when I went to Shanghai, that felt intense, just because of the quantity of people and the transport and everything was just so.
Well, it's
intense.
quite a well-run city, New York. I mean, on the grid system, everyone's, the subway one runs really well,
and the address logic means that you kind of. Like a battleship board, you can kind of work out where you are.
It's misleading that because
5th and 4th and 117th.
Well, no,
Avenue.
but you think, oh great, so we're on 17th. Oh, we'll just walk it because I can just come out, and then an hour later you're thinking, oh, it's further. Just because I know my alphabet.
We'll have another hot dog.
And also it's it's properly polycentric, so you might want to go all the way across New York to see a friend or to go to Broadway or to do something specific. But actually, if you're in Brooklyn, that's everything you would need. You would have a holiday in Brooklyn, wouldn't you? Or Harlem on its own.
What does polycentric mean? Is that we have multiple partners?
Whatever she says, Ben. Yes, in a way, multi-centered.
Okay,
so this idea that in the old days you'd work in the city, you'd live in Mortlake, East Sheen, come in with your bowler hat and your kind of paper under your arm and get the commuter train, and you'd have miles of houses, and it would be this sort of garden village monstrosity as far as I can tell. The idea now is you have the city, you have Victoria, you have Battersea, you have Shoreditch, you have Mayfair, you have Paddington, you have what they're doing at Peckham, and each of these is they have their own identity, but the sort of whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So they're each, King's Cross has become this tech hub because of all the stuff that Argent have done there. Battersea's got this industrial heritage of power station. The city is the city. Yeah. Victoria is fashion. Shoreditch is sort of cultural, tech, industrial.
Canary Wharf, Stratford. I mean, yeah.
So actually now, what most journeys are through London and out journey, and what you need to do is just link up these centres more efficiently. And New York's really good at that.
Yeah, just going back to your point about London as well, and potentially the tulip being a problem because you're building a tourist, touristy building in a place when there's lots of offices. Do you reckon that like London could be going the direction of New York, wherein there's tourist attractions right next to office buildings, and they're all sort of in one.
Or the London Dungeon.
Yeah, well, no,
for one.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's
Massive.
Yeah.
We had this
Has
is,
it been?
this is really interesting. We had a planning.
We'll be the judge of that.
A police officer come in and review our building from a security point of view. So this is right in the city, and he was saying that guys on the weekend and a Saturday, it's like the Wild West out there. We were like, what? He's like, well, there's no bankers, there's no shops, there's nothing there. No one goes on the weekend. This is a couple of years ago. And he was saying what happens is you get all these really nice cocktail bars, super nice cocktail bars. They're so busy Monday to Thursday.
Yes, officer.
Yeah. Whereas on the weekend, they make no money. So they'll rent out the cocktail bars super cheap. So gangs will come in from like the areas, have their like birthday parties there, and he was like, we've got CCTV footage of one gang coming out of one bar, one gang coming out of the other. They're completely out of their normal turf, and they see themselves on this empty street. There's only something like 10 police officers that police the city because they use CCTV.
All right, don't tell everyone.
And he said that's why they're so keen to push so much retail and get so much tourist attractions, all this other stuff, just to make
That's
it
really
safer.
interesting. I mean, we've spoken to them about some schemes, and a lot of it is about the fear of crime rather than the reality of crime. So on lit alleyways, if that has the impact of forcing someone to go the other way, then it doesn't need to be a crime or a criminal or a real threat. It's just that kind of perception. But I could totally see that because I've been in the city on a Saturday.
Fighting.
and I see really unusual crowds of people who are queuing up for a venue. Yeah.
He said he just painted it like the Wild West.
I love it, but that's his job. If you're a security consultant, you don't come in and say, guys, it's an overblown load of Tommy rot. This.
But you design like a little alcove that might be a bit architectural, and he'd be like, that'll be full of tramps' piss.
Yeah.
You're like,
That'll have someone's foot in it. And they're sort of quite like... Whenever you have a meeting with a policeman and he's not like being a bobby and sort of mildly sort of sanctimonious, do you ever find they want the meeting to last for as long as possible?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, when we meet him, we discussed a couple of things, and he'd have been there all day.
He's got everyone living off every word that he's saying. Yeah, I mean, but it was.
Are we done here?
Yeah. Well, I went to Chicago on a architectural field trip, and we went to
every year.
I try and go every year, and we went to the kind of downtown city district, the finance center, and that's where all the famous buildings are. On a Saturday, just like tumbleweed going around. It was like we had a hostel right in the center, and there was no one around. And it is. You look for because Chicago's not like New York. You can just look down a street and it'll just disappear off into the horizon. And there's like one homeless guy walking around. And
Chicago's like that?
Yeah.
I have never been, and I'm so embarrassed about that. It's the home of tall buildings.
Yeah.
And we both love them. Did you go on the Maglev?
Yeah, the Maglev. And what's amazing is you go from O'Hare Airport all the way to the centre, and you go through... I've never really been through poor areas, and I'd realised that there was burnt out cars. There was because you go right through the middle, and the person who's guiding us was like, guys, don't take photos here. People think it's cool to take photos. Don't get off as a student. I mean, this was like 6-7 years ago, but it was proper New York and Chicago kind of slummy area. And then you arrive in the city and it's absolutely amazing. And you've got that kind of Frank Gehry convention center in the middle of Lake Michigan, like Michigan Park, whatever it's called. I went up the Hancock Tower, which was amazing. There's a really nice little cocktail bar at the top. Just these amazing views, and I was like, there's such a contrast between the two things.
Yeah, is Chicago a megacity?
What's the difference? A megacity?
I think it's over 10. Over 10.
Yeah, so London isn't a megacity yet. Is London a metropolis? What's a metropolis where it joins up with another nearby city?
Let's
just define what a megacity is.
So they've got a category beyond a megacity that we should have looked up. It's called a Gigantega city or something. And for example, Beijing is merging into Tianjin and another city, and the three of them together are going to become this huge city. And I met a friend when I lived in Beijing, and he said, yeah, and we talked about the plan and what was projected. And he says, when you live in the middle of this city, it's going to take you 6 hours to get out of it in any direction.
Yeah.
Which is quite full on. So you're like, let's go out for the day.
Yeah.
And you drive for 6 hours, get to like a tiny piece of green, have picnic and...
Because that's that. I mean, people say London's massive, but you can go on a bike ride and within half an hour you're in the middle of the countryside. It's amazing. Whereas the idea of that would fill me with dread. I think just the idea that you can never escape that city. And for as much as we talked about the planners, having that kind of foresight to go, okay, this is a green area, let's just build tall, and the land value will allow us to do that.
Also, planners. I went to an amazing conference in Jakarta last year, and they are it's going to be the biggest city in the world quite soon, and they have no infrastructure. Everyone rides motorbikes because otherwise you can't get around, and they're like swarms of people trying to get through every crevice in the traffic. And I was going to meet an engineer who I'd met, and I said, and he asked where I was staying, and I said, oh, why? I'll come to your office. He's like, no, it depends where you are. You won't be able to get across town. And we worked out at the Arab office, and my hotel, he said there was just no way we'll be able to meet in the 3 days you're here.
What?
I mean, it was mad. So I'd flown all the way to Jakarta. I thought, I'll meet a few people. He said, it's just not going to happen. And then when all the delegates went out for the dinner, the only way we could get from the venue to the kind of palace, or whatever it was to have police outriders, like sirens.
What, to get through all the traffic?
To get through all the traffic. It was absolutely mad. And I remember thinking, they were G20 country, and it was mad. And I thought, what are you going to do here? And then I thought, we'll do what they're doing in Rio, where you've got these favelas that go for miles through the hills. There is no possible way of ever building a road system. It's quite difficult to deal with a lot of the kind of socio-economic problems there. So what they've done is say, look, there are actually pockets of them that are quite well built and that have rule of law. So actually, we're going to make these the stations for a big sort of a kind of cable car network. And then
cable car?
So
That's
it
such
just
a cool idea.
drops in. And because the cable car then lands, because it's got a station and they've chosen these strategically kind of healthy points, the station then means you get loads of development around it, and so you get these kind of little pods that kind of grow out, and that sort of station means good infrastructure, better resi, better retail. And the idea is that ultimately all of that, the benefits from those nodes will spread out, and those nodes will begin to interconnect. But it struck me as a rather like lateral and brave idea to say, how do we deal with this
That's
unfiltered?
Such a cool idea.
I know it is, isn't it?
You're just like dropping a little wealth magnet in the middle, just boop, boop. Because those favelas are crazy.
And it means that if you work in a favela, it's not crazy for you to take a kind of corporate job in the middle of town, and it's just carrying you like pretty mad.
Because those favelas, I mean, they're bonkers. I mean, I think so. What we're gonna, we're gonna do higher or lower, Bill. I think we're racing. We've been talking so quickly. This is but the favelas are like the future of these megacities, where just the capacity of people joining them is so much faster than any planner. I mean, the idea that a planner would say no, and then he turns up a year later and there's a 5,000 buildings been built of varying quality. I mean,
and the danger is not that it's sort of unstructured. It's just that there's no building regulations, and they're hilly environments. So when the rains come, people's lives are at risk because all the mudslides and these things collapse. So it's not that people want it to develop in a particular way. It's that people's lives are at risk, and everyone's desperate to avoid.
Because they're so dangerous that I watched this documentary about favelas where Will Smith drives a Humvee through. It's called Bad Boys 2, and honestly, everything blew up. It was crazy how unsafe they are, and I just thought I can never drive a Humvee.
Even in a Hummer.
Never get chased by a gang in a Humvee in a favela. Okay, right. I'm a little bit excited about the higher lows. Yeah. I've got props. Guys, we need a topper for the drinks. I've got to lean down and get
Okay.
All right, Ben, top me up. This is good. You're going to be excited. Hang on.
More tea.
Guys, everyone listening, I don't know if you can sit down, maybe Oh, I'm giddy. Hang on.
You've been giddy all day.
I know I
actually.
have. I was excited
Even
about it.
since lunch.
The second we changed the topic from classics to megacities, I was far more
Classics.
excited. No, don't. You say belligerent.
Well, we might run out of topics, and I want to do another shout out for Catherine Jones. If you're listening, tell us if you want to hear about classics.
yeah.
If she says classics, we're back on.
Yeah. Okay. If what's her name again?
Catherine Jones.
Catherine Jones. If you say any topic, and we really do mean this, any topic you want, and we'll bring it up. Oh, okay, right. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. Okay, right. So, here we go. So, for those of you listening,
Oh, wow.
Oh, I can see the top one.
yeah, okay, hang on. No, it's fine. Hang on. So, for those of you listening, last week Bill said I was a bit scatty. It wasn't quite slick enough. You need to be a bit click, whatever. So.
Oh no, I
So-
don't like tomatoes.
Interesting. So
Oh no, do you know I don't like tomatoes?
So I emailed Lucy, your wonderful partner, and said, Bill was rinsing me for how bad higher or lower was. Please can you provide something Bill doesn't like for him to eat if he gets wrong or drink? And do you know what she's got? We've got no bad drink, but he doesn't like cherry tomatoes. So I have a little bowl of cherry tomatoes,
no.
and you're going to rue the day that you ever rinse me for
Okay.
not doing higher or
What do
lower
you-
properly.
I just hate the way they sort of explode in your mouth.
She said that. She's like, I don't think it's the taste. I don't think he likes the way they explode.
We have a healthy relationship. We talk about the big things like which experiences in our mouths we do and don't like.
I am.
I'm going to concentrate really hard on this. I'm going
Okay.
to go deep into every article I've ever read.
Okay, let's ignore that advert. Right, so basically, this is how it works. According to the website, thevisualcities.com, I have in front of me a list of the biggest megacities in 2100. Top 20.
2100.
2100, yes.
Projected
Let me
growth.
quickly check. Okay, let's, Bill.
That's
I'm
a
about
big one. Let's
no,
get started.
okay, you can choose on your little pussy. Okay, I'm now placing the cherry tomato in front of Bill. Bill looks tense. I'm tense. This music. Oh God. Are you ready, Bill?
I'm
What are you doing? Are you looking at it?
I just don't. I had nasty experiences in like when I was younger. If you cook it, or even if you cut it in half, it's like better.
When I did that, I was like, he's not going to give a crap about a cherry tomato. It's really funny to you, right? Bill Webb, I'm going to start you off in the middle. So number 10 on the 2100 biggest megacities in the world, Kabul in Afghanistan is predicted to be the 10th biggest megacity in the world, with a population of 50.3 million.
By 2100.
Yes.
And we are 2018. So this is 80 years. So the world's population will probably have doubled.
Ben, can you bring
Three
up
times.
a world map of Google? And your challenge is to now type these places in as quickly as I'm talking about them.
Okay.
I now have in front of me cards
Okay.
of every single city on the top 20, apart from number 20. Number 20? Okay, so pick anything. Don't turn it over. You can just look at the top. It's fine to look at the top. So you've pulled out... What's that?
Mogadishu in Somalia.
Okay, Bill. To not eat a cherry tomato, because I know you don't want to, is Mogadishu in Somalia going to be bigger in 2100 than Kabul in Afghanistan with a population of 50.3 million? Higher or lower than 50.3 million?
Higher.
Higher. Turned it over. Do you think it'll be higher than 10? It is...
Oh no! It's 19.
19. So
Look how
low,
much
Bill.
effort has gone into the.
Yeah, well, that's what happens
Oh,
when you rinse
no, do I
me.
have to eat
Bill,
it?
I'm now going to have to eat it. Eat it. Okay,
Oh.
good. Oh, feel it pop in your mouth.
Oh,
This is a
God.
bit like I'm a Celebrity, isn't it? Think of it as a witchy grub or something.
He's really
Eat
having
it.
an intense reaction to this.
Eat it. Yeah, look at me while you're eating it. Yeah, this will teach you to rinse me
People
for
do
higher
that
or lower. Guys, I think we can all agree that you're really impressed with the amount of effort I put in. Okay, Bill, question number 2.
All right.
You're
The sort
now-
of back end of it's all right. It's just the sort of.
Shush. Right. All right. So high or lower than number 19? 36 million. Choose another one, please. Another one. Okay, you've chosen.
I didn't say it. I didn't
Okay,
say
good.
it. Aha.
Okay, so what? Read out for
Addis
listeners.
Ababa in Ethiopia.
The reason I'm asking Ben to do them is honestly about a quarter of these I'd never even heard of. So
We haven't even got to Google Maps yet.
okay, this is
No, Addis Ababa in Ethiopia.
Don't say, oh, you go there every year. All right, then. Okay, so you're
Is
now
it
looking for higher or
or-
lower than number 19?
Higher or lower than Mogadishu?
Yes.
I would say higher.
Bill Webb, is it higher than 19? It's the lowest one. You had a 1 in 20 chance. It is number 20. You couldn't have got that. You had number 19. You only had one lower.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Bill, you're now going to eat another cherry tomato. This is a lot more fun than I thought it'd be. I didn't think you'd hate cherry tomatoes as much. Look at Ben while you're doing it. Just look at him. They do pop weird. They do. Just
It's horrible.
for those listening, an arcing jet of tomato juice has come out of Bill's mouth,
T-shirt.
only reinforcing Bill's hatred of cherry tomatoes.
That's exactly why I don't like them.
Okay, but you'll be glad to know, Bill, that I'm pretty sure that you're going to get this.
How
one
many
right.
more are there?
Okay, okay, you're number 2. Okay, so you've only got 3 more to go.
So there were only 20.
Yeah, so I think you should feel pretty confident about this next one. Okay, let's
Try
quickly.
and give me one of these ones. Here we go. All right.
Okay, you have picked out
Khartoum in Sudan.
cartoon in Sudan. Quickly, Ben. Quick.
I would have definitely said that. I would have said that was lower, but it can't be. It's got to be higher. So I'm going to go higher than Addis Ababa, Khartoum, Sudan.
Considering there's only 20, what is it, number?
56. It's number 6. 50,
Number 6.
56.6.
Hang on, right, let's read this out again. For those listening, this is
Khartoum.
Khartoum in Sudan, somewhere Bill's been many, many times. No, you haven't. Don't say it like you know where that is.
Well, I've
Khartoum,
read
Sudan.
spy novels.
Sudan. Okay, that is what number?
6.
Number 6 in the world with
Okay,
a population of 56 million. Bearing in mind the biggest city in the world is Japan with 38 million right now. It's ridiculous. Tokyo, sorry, yeah, it's Japan.
Hang on,
it's
this
not
is
a
going to be a
city,
mega
then.
city.
Yeah, honestly, all of these ones I'd never.
It says who though?
Yeah,
What?
according to about 3 different websites, they're all around this. They're saying predominantly, and what was it? By the year 2100, it's estimated 13 of the world's biggest megacities will be located in Africa. 13 of the top 20 will be in Africa.
I can believe that because the Chinese are all moving on.
No, well, it's
Africa, aren't they?
okay, let's go.
Okay. Anyway, let's go back. Let's go back. Come on. Let's not ruin the ambience because Bill wanted to keep it snappy. Okay, Bill, number 6. This is going to be quite a hard one for you actually because. Okay.
So
Number
that's
6.
interesting. So there's a population explosion in Africa.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Okay. Right. You have.
Oh, are they
chosen-
all? Have you given me all African ones?
They're all the top 13 are all in Africa, Bill.
Lusaka in Zambia.
Lukaku.
Lukaku is he'll be worth 30 million. I tell you.
Okay, Bill. So you have got to get number 6, 56.6 million, higher or lower. Do you want to quickly look at where it is?
Yeah, it's by Zimbabwe.
Is it Zambia?
Yeah, it's not by Zimbabwe. Okay, zoom out. I'm going to say higher than 6.
Whoa,
Ah.
Billy Big Balls over here. Look at Ben. Look at these images.
This does not look like a city that's going to.
Okay. Hang on.
No.
People.
So for those listening, we're now picking up some fairly shanty town images.
I'm
of
going
what's
to go
apparently
higher.
gonna
I'm
be
going to go higher.
higher than number 6. It is.
Number 18.
Oh.
I'm
Okay,
way
so-
off with that. With 37.7 million.
But still, that city that Ben just put, you're going to have to eat this cherry tomato. No, don't wince. They must be better after the third one.
the worst. It's like
Eat it, Bill.
It gets worse every time.
Do you know what? I don't even have to fake laugh because that is really satisfying. Bill was holding his head in his hands, eating his 3rd cherry tomato on the trot. Okay, right. Here we go.
I'm gonna have to.
You need to have a
Talk
word
to my-
with your wonderful partner. Couldn't have given you crisps, could she? Okay, so read out the number. That was number.
18.
Oh, damn it! This is the last one. This is the last one.
Okay, so I'm going to go higher here.
Higher. You're going to go higher.
Well, because I've had
Yeah,
19
yeah.
and 20.
Oh, damn it. Okay, go on then, quickly. Oh, what are the odds, Bill's got right? Damn it, that ended so badly.
Kampala in Uganda.
Okay, Bill. Do you think it's going to be higher or lower than 18?
It's going to be it's going to come higher up the pecking order.
Yes.
So it's going to be I'm going to guess number 8.
Okay, go.
Number 16. I chose some very low ones there.
I mean, that was right, but good lord, that was close. No cherry tomato. So,
Come and finish us off then.
okay, so
What was number 1?
okay, right. Do you know what? This has ended brilliantly for me. So, I wanted to make this as good as possible for our listeners, our dear listeners. So, I have. You ready for this, Bill?
Yeah.
I prepared a little song for you. Okay. You ready?
Man, I thought you'd forgotten.
Okay, here we go. So, I'm going to go with the top 10, 2,100 megacities. In at number 10 is 50.3 for Kabul in Afghanistan. In at number 9, 52.4 million, Kolkata in India. I'm saying these wrong. Quick, Sharpie, keep up. Number 8, 54.3 is Jakarta in Bangladesh. Number 7, 56.1 million, Niamey in Niger. Do not say that wrong. Number 6, 56.6 million, somewhere in Sudan. Number 5,
Khartoum.
yeah, Khartoum. Number 5, 57.3 million. This is going on longer than I thought. Delhi, India. Number 4, 67.2 million. Mumbai, India.
Solid.
Number 3, 73.7 million.
Beijing.
Dar es Salaam
Dar es Salaam.
in Tanzania.
Yeah.
Number 2, 83.5 million. Kinshasa in Dominican Republic. DRC? What's DRC?
Dominican Republic.
Okay.
No, it's a Democratic Republic of Congo.
Okay. And at number 1 is
Beijing.
Lagos in Nigeria.
Lagos?
Which is 88.3 million. They're saying
No.
even right now, 2,000 people are joining a day, and it's just rampantly increasing in size.
So hang on.
So type that
Why
in.
don't we work in Africa then?
Well, this is, I mean,
If that's where all the people are.
not that I'm saying that Brexit's not going to be discussed in this podcast, but all of the major cities are like in Africa. Literally ridiculous. I mean, if you look
2100 though, we won't be
we'll
alive.
dead. Exactly. You know,
But on the
it's
way there.
on children's children. India will hold the other, like 3 of them. 13 will be in Africa. And there's none found in America, China, or Europe in the top 20, according to
So
this website.
why is that? Any explanation?
Well, they say that the kind of the explosion of the number of people and just the space that they've got, and that it's kind of they've got a lot of natural resources there that are very underdeveloped. It's a very underdeveloped country in terms of like actual infrastructure, government infrastructure, and they're saying that
continent.
Technology will start to unleash, like banking's done a lot with text messaging and things. They're saying that there's a technology infrastructure there that it isn't like a physical infrastructure that we would rely on.
And that's sort of what happened in China, that there was no industrial...
Sorry, I'm exhausted after that. That's so
I'm gonna
intense.
sit down. Me too. I had to eat 4 of my nemesis.
Yeah, but think how energy charged you or some health.
God, it's put me off for another 10 years.
Shout out to Lucy for that.
Eyeballs. Horrible devil's
Okay, well,
eyeballs.
so we've got literally, we're at our limit now. This is our unofficial limit that we're going to set ourselves.
Well, then perhaps you need to set a topic for next week.
Well, I think we've established that my topics get poo-pooed. Do you want to establish a topic?
I've got loads of topics. I think we should do health.
That's the next one.
There we
isn't
go.
it? Look
Health.
at Ben's eyes.
Is it boring, health?
No, I think it's.
I think something. Could we call it something else like,
the sex. No.
yeah. Well, I don't know, like
Sexy health.
Yeah.
life or death or something like that.
Yeah.
No, we'll say health.
Health. Okay.
Life or death. I like that branding.
Well, it's on Monday though, isn't it? Maybe, do you think health should be not Mondays but the following week so we can actually prepare? Because Monday we've only got like 4 days until the Monday
No,
one.
I think we should do health.
Okay, I'm just gonna talk about your health.
Yeah, that's a go.
Yeah.
I should be back on the road by then.
Let's all be honest. From now until Christmas, there will be no healthy eating. Guys, I've put on a lot of weight. I feel like
I just eat
wanna-
sausage meat, basically, big bowls of it.
I feel like I should embarrass myself and just weigh myself on this podcast. It's the only thing that's going to stop me from rampantly eating for the next 6 weeks.
Oh, that's good. No,
Do you think I should?
next year, let's do the January health kick.
Okay, yeah, let's start.
We'll
yeah.
do a competitive health, weight loss, fitness test every week from the start of Jan.
For those listening, Bill and I like to muse about dieting and reducing our alcohol intake, and then we get so excited about how good we're going to be that we double down and do way worse. We had a good Wednesday, didn't we?
Excellent.
Yeah. So next week's episode is going to be about health.
Health.
Oh, really?
Let's get Fiona on the phone.
Let's see what Catherine thinks of this. If she's happy with health, I'm happy with health.
She calls the shots.
Text
Yeah.
in, and we're not doing that. Like, guys, tweet it
Yeah.
in #ArchitectureDen, or message us directly.
Yeah.
Or email Bill or Ben at architectureden.com.
Yeah, and also, if you like this, just I was going to say
Or
click
just text
subscribe.
Ben on 077.
Brilliant. Okay, that was a really fun episode. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.